Welcome back, everyone's the Bourbon Judge. Hey, we're back at it with Dark Arts. Yes, a new release from Dark Arts. But before we dive into everything Dark Arts related, I literally, and I mean literally, just got back from Kentucky. Had a chance to pick some amazing barrels, hanging out with my patrons. So we hung out with my patrons, we hung out, had a blast, had some great food. More important, had some great whiskey, some great camaraderie. We picked two barrels over at Nulu as well as Old Louisville. So yes, Nulu and Old Louisville. So the Bourbon Judge community is going to be very, very pleased with the barrels that we picked. I will say that. But also in terms of other barrels that are coming out, most important, literally in the next day or two, Cafe Au Lait. Yes, Cafe Au Lait, Glenn's Creek. This is, I'm telling you, it's probably one of the best barrels we picked in the last few months. It's special. So if you're interested in becoming a patron, go ahead, check me out over on Patreon. All right. So when you think of Dark Arts, to me, when I think of actually Dark Arts, I'm thinking back to the last time I actually even had them on the channel. So the last time I reviewed a Dark Arts product was, it was the blending collaboration. I think it was the Bourbon Junkies versus It's Bourbon Night, right? So that was the last time, but I'm a big fan of Dark Arts, so I will say that I think their whiskey is really good. Obviously they're sourcing whiskey, then blending it, finishing it, etc. and so forth. So this is a brand new release. This is the Ripple Rye Part 2. Yes, this is the Ripple Rye Part 2. Full transparency, I did not have Ripple Rye Part 1, so interested in trying this one and see how it is. Cool? All right. So, Judge, what do we know about the Ripple Rye Part 2? So, a couple of things. Number one, it is a rye whiskey that is finished in maple syrup barrels. And then also, inclusive of that, they also put toasted Amburana staves into the whiskey. So, yes, this is an interesting one. This is very unique. So, again, yeah, straight rye whiskey, finished in former maple syrup barrels, but then they inserted toasted Amburana oak staves. So, to me, that just sounds spicy from the rye, but then sweetness from the maple syrup barrels as well as the Amburana oak. So you get a little bit of boldness and spice from the Amburana oak stave as well. So this is gonna be very interesting. I have no clue what to expect with this one, and I mean no clue. One thing that we don't know also, unfortunately, is how long the rye whiskey was sitting in that secondary barrel, that maple syrup barrels, as well as how long were the oak staves, the Amburana oak staves, in those barrels as well. So that's going to be very interesting because, a lot of times when you think of Amburana, I know a lot of times people are thinking Amburana might be too much. It's not always a bad thing if the Amburana oak staves were not in there for a long period of time. So that is critically important. Unfortunately, we just don't know how long the oak staves, the Amburana oak staves, were in that whiskey. Cool? All right, let's dive into this one real quick. So, Judge, what do we know about this one? So we know a couple things. Number one, it is sourced, obviously, from MGP. So that's number one. The mash bill, unfortunately, is unknown. We don't have the mash bill, but we do know it's a rye. So it has to be at least 51% rye in the mash bill. That part we do know. All right. Also, hold on. Oh yeah. Oh, sweet. Oh man. You get that the sweetness from the maple syrup on the nose. And the Amburana, it kind of pulls you in, but it's not like overwhelming Amburana. So that's a good thing too. Also from an age statement, so we do know the age is aged 7.5 years. Again, the whiskey is aged 7.5 years. We just don't know how long the whiskey sat in those maple syrup barrels, as well as how long did it have the Amburana staves in the whiskey. That's the part we don't know. But hey, 7.5 years. And last thing that we do know, MSRP, $110. All right, MSRP 110. Rye whiskey finished in maple syrup barrels with some toasted Amburana staves in there. Very nice. So on the nose, this is very much, oh man, this is nice. On the nose, I'm getting a ton of it's like a cinnamon meets almost like a gingerbread, nutmeg. Yeah, very much. Wow, very like deep baking spices. Nutmeg, some gingerbread, almost like a roasted chocolate note. So not like a milk or dark chocolate, but almost like a roasted chocolate kind of a note in a way. definitely can tell this is a rye at its core. You get a good influence of like a peppery, minty kind of a note, if you will. All right, here we go. The brand new Dark Arts Volume 2. This is pretty cool. I like it. Ripple Rye. All right, let's see what we got. Here we go, folks, real quick. 3 quick, easy favors. Number 1, hit the like button. Number 2, drop me a comment. Let me know what are your thoughts just on Dark Arts as a whole. And then also, if you tried the brand new Ripple Rye Part 2, what are your thoughts on this? Last but not least, please make sure you also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so you get notification each and every time I release new content. Cool? All right. Age 7.5 years, 110 bucks. Let's see if it's worth it. Cheers. Ooh, that's actually really nice. Damn. That's really nice. That's actually, I'm not gonna lie. When I saw that it had toasted Amburana staves in it, I thought the Amburana staves might be a bit like too much in a way. But with a rye whiskey, and that's actually not bad. Not bad at all. Hold on a second. Hold on. Pump the brakes. 1 second. Hold on. Let me get another little sip of this. So, I would say a couple things about this. Number 1, for this, you have to be a fan of finished whiskeys. Not everyone out there is a big fan of finished whiskeys. But here's why I like this. I like this because there's a couple things. 3 reasons. Number 1, you can absolutely taste at the core, this is a rye whiskey. I mean, at the core, mid, end of the palate, it screams, I am a rye, right? It's not overwhelmed by the Amburana staves or the ex-maple syrup barrels. So at the core, you can definitely tell this is a rye, first and foremost. And I like that. Number 2, I love that the fact that the maple syrup barrels that they use, it offsets the spicy, the boldness of the rye. It makes it sweet, it makes it subtle and approachable. And the last thing about this, the Amburana, they must have not left the Amburana staves in there for a long time, because I'm telling you, it has like just enough of the Amburana, like the cinnamon note that Amburana kind of gives off, just enough to make the whiskey extremely well-rounded. So it's sweet, it's spicy, and it's bold. You get the cinnamon notes, you get the gingerbread notes, you get truly everything in this whiskey that you would expect. This to me is actually pretty damn spectacular. One last little sip. Cheers. Wow. That's really nice. Wow. That's really, really nice. All right. So, Judge, is this a buy? Do I go directly to Dark Arts and just grab this bottle no matter what? Do I grab it online? Do I grab it in the store? To me, from yours truly only, I'm going to go ahead and give this a judgment. But I'm taking one last little sip. Wow. The team at Dark Arts, they did a really good job with this one. Really good. All right. The judgment is in. This, to me, full transparency, this is a split decision. Here is the reason why. A couple of things. Number 1, you absolutely have to love a finished whiskey in order to like this. If you are, and there's a lot of people out there, right? That's the reason why I give this a split decision. Not because it's bad, and not because it's the best thing since sliced bread. I think it's actually really good quality, but you can tell this is absolutely a finished whiskey at its core. So if you love the finished whiskey, I would say actually run out and actually grab it. It's a little bit higher than the price point I would prefer. I wish it was closer to like $90, $95, not $110. That's another aspect of the judgment. That's part of the reason why I give it a split decision. It's slightly above the price point, which I think it should be, $90 to $95. $110 is kind of reaching, to be honest. However, from a quality of a blending standpoint, that is actually spectacular. And I can guarantee you, I just opened this bottle. If I actually had this with a cigar, this would be amazing. The other side, if you're not a fan of finished whiskeys because you prefer just a traditional straight rye or a traditional bourbon, this is probably not up your lane. You can definitely tell it's finished, but it's finished very well. And that is the reason why I gave it a split decision. All right, my friends, until the next time, as we say in this courtroom, peace, cheers, most important, salute.